What is malaria? Malaria is a life-threatening disease carried by mosquitoes and is transferred when the mosquito attempts to suck blood from an unsuspecting person. About 3.5 billion people are at risk of getting malaria, about half of the world's population.
The malaria parasite's life cycle is very complex, involving many stages. As the mosquito feeds, malaria sporozoites enter into the human bloodstream. They quickly make their way to the liver and infect liver cells with the help of the circumsporozoite protein. The parasite develops into mature schizons, creating tens of thousands of merozoites, which burst out of the cell and journey back toward the bloodstream. They then infect healthy red blood cells, reproducing and eventually rupturing the cell, liberating more merozoite, which in turn go on to infect other cells, leading to the massive destruction of red blood cells. A few of the infected cells develop into gametocytes, which can remain in the bloodstream for several days and may be ingested by another mosquito during a subsequent feeding. Inside the mosquito, the gametocytes develop into new sporozoites. So now the human has infected the mosquito. The life cycle comes full circle and continues.
Symptoms of malaria: shaking, high fever, sweating, headache, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, muscle pain, convulsions, coma, bloody stools are all common symptoms. If you have been to a region that is infected with malaria and you have experienced one or more of these symptoms, contact your local disease control center. Organ systems affected. Some organ systems affected by malaria is the central system, digestive system, muscular system, inguinary system, lymphatic system, blood system, and respiratory system are all the organs affected by malaria. It is common to develop infections in these systems due to the malaria virus. Where is malaria present? Malaria is mainly in tropical and subtropical areas of the world because malaria is a very temperamental virus and needs certain criteria for it to be able to survive and fully develop. This is why it mainly thrives in and around the equator. Some of the criteria that must be met is an average temperature of 20 degrees Celsius. That way the virus is able to multiply year-round. That means if the average global temperature keeps increasing due to global warming, malaria will be able to spread to more places around the world, infecting and killing millions of more people. For malaria to keep reproducing, it can't be at too high of an altitude, as well as it cannot stay alive in the desert. Prevention of malaria. Although there isn't a foolproof way of preventing malaria, there are ways of reducing the risk of getting malaria. Some ways of preventing malaria is using bed nets or mosquito nets soaked in insecticides, wearing protective clothing like long sleeve shirts, and staying indoors during the night. Curing malaria. Malaria can be a severe, potentially fatal disease, and treatment should be started as soon as possible. The drugs used to fight against malaria are chloroquine, malaroin, Coartem, Lariam, quinine, quinidine, just to name a few. The problem. Most countries infected with malaria are unable to help their citizens because of lack of funds. That's why richer countries and organizations need to come together to help these countries out. To find out how Canada helps or how to donate yourself, visit www.redcross.ca/howwehelp.